to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money.
Happy Monday. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm so excited, y'all. It's Monday. It's the top of the week. How we feeling? How y'all doing? Y'all all right?
I'm good.
Good.
Yes. Okay. So today we are talking about a conversation that hits home for many of us, right? The cost of keeping up with appearances. I found a story where a Philadelphia mother had recently made headlines for spending $27,000 on her daughter's prom send-off. While it is heartwarming to see, not really, a parent go all out for their children, it also raises tough questions about financial sacrifices we make to impress others and keep our children happy. Do they deserve all of that? Why do we feel the need to spend so much on celebrations? And why does this and how does this affect our financial health in the long run? How can we redefine success in a way that is sustainable and aligned with our financial goals? Let's break it down. As you know, I cannot have this conversation by myself. It would be very boring. So, of course, I have a panel of wonderful, brilliant minds, two of my bestest friends in the whole wide world. To the left or right of me, I have no idea, depending on the way you see it. I have Mr. Joe Corley, who is a therapist, an educator, and really just like the bomb.com. Hey, Joe, how you doing? All right. And I also have my film and television sister in journalism, sister in all the things, Marlo Layson. Y'all, let's get into this conversation. So, should we just start with the video? No. I don't want to start with the video. Let's just talk for a second. I want to just hear from you. How was your prom? Did you guys go all out for your prom dates, or like did y'all spend a gajillion dollars? Like, what was your experience like? Marlo, what was your experience like?
My dress was rented. The car was rented. I think we went in halves or quarters, or however many people were renting and sharing the car. And we went to a nice restaurant, but I don't think it was $500. Might be pushing it.
$500. Okay, so
and nobody's mama paid for any of that stuff.
I think at this point, the tickets to prom is like $500. I think that's a real thing. So, Joe, what about you? How was your prom? Like, did you go all out? Were you extravagant with it? What was your experience like?
Yeah, no, this is a good light opening, so I don't want to bring it down. But my first prom came literally months after my mother died. So what we had to do was bibbity bobbity boo that thing. So people put their hands together and did a little something here, did a little something there. It was definitely not extravagant, but I got there.
Yeah. Well, that's a blessing. That's not bringing it down at all. Listen, that was our experiences. All right, so let's go ahead and check out this video, and we'll talk about it in a second. Roll the video.
Did you ever think that it was going to get to this grand of a scale?
I did not. I thought it was going to be a very nice prom send off, but for me to be sitting here talking to you about the prom, I absolutely did not.
The theme was Cinderella, and the event planner that she hired transformed a city lot on Lancaster Avenue into a castle fit for a princess or maybe even a Hollywood movie. From the chandeliers to the furniture, it looked like Harris spared no expense. The castle alone, she says, 27 grand.
So a lot. But what about college education? So they'll still get that. They'll still get everything that they need. I just feel like it's that family's prerogative to do what they want to do at that particular time. And prom send off, for whatever reason, I don't know how it got to be what it is, but it's a thing now.
Okay, sis basically said, listen, I can afford it. My daughter's still gonna go to college and still gonna do all the things. This didn't hurt our bottom line, not one bit. And that's great. That's great for her. But I don't think that's the story for probably 90% of people that send their kids off in an extravagant manner. Marlo, what do you say to that? Like, how do you respond to that video?
I say, no, I don't know. Without sounding like a hater, this ain't my bag at all. I think that this is too much for prom. I think that prom is one milestone of many. It's like, I don't know why prom gotta feel like wedding, why prom, like, but again, one thing I don't like, and we could probably touch on it later, how she said, I didn't expect for it to get this big. I didn't expect to be sitting here talking to you. Like, who planned it? How you
Baby,
didn't
you
expect?
hired a planner. You hired a planner for the prom send-off.
Okay. All
Did
right.
you miss
Well,
that?
let's talk to Joe, because Joe has a better perspective, and Joe is gonna make me feel kinder by the end of this hour.
So Joe, yes, let's talk about that. Like, so this young lady, I mean, the mother said, "Listen, I hired a planner." What is your response to this video? Is it all the most, or is it, is it cool if you it ain't tricking if you got it?
You know me, man. I'm always questions. My response is always questions. So I need to know, like you said, do you have it? Okay, or are you? And if you do have it, what was your reasoning for doing this? Like, what motivated you to do it? What experiences have you lived that made you feel like you had to show up in this moment this way? Are you responding to some type of, I don't know, but there's a lot of there's a lot of deep seated things in our history that kind of make us do stuff like this. And I'm not saying this is that, but it could be that. So
Yeah.
just questions I would have.
Yeah. That's a great point, because I was thinking that too. Like, in general, a lot of us move from a space of like overcompensation for the things that I didn't experience, or that I didn't have, or if I didn't have a mom, or I never went to my prom, or whatever it was. I'm gonna push that on my kid, but not only am I gonna give it to my kid, I'm gonna give it to my kid. Is that a wrong way of thinking, Marlo? Like, should we give our kids what we didn't have?
As a parent, I think absolutely not. I don't think that entitlement helps anybody grow. And I don't think that just giving, there's teaching and parenting, right? We're not teaching kids to do chores or to do well in school, or to try to excel and not quit when they ask to participate in things. We're not doing that for our health. We're doing that because at some point we're going to turn them loose on society, and who will they be, right? Who are we forming them to be right now? And I just think this is red flag parenting to me. And if I knew a kid that was able to get a lavish $27,000 send off, I would watch them closely in the presence of my kid.
Hmm. Listen, I've seen Bugattis, I've seen rented Porsches, and I mean Lamborghinis, butterfly doors, and all of these things that we're seeing in rap videos. Really, like, it looks like a rap video. Some of these send-offs are looking like it's just so extravagant to that point. And I do wonder, you know, does it affect the children? Like, I love what you said, Marlo. Does it, Joe, affect the children? I noticed that maybe my daughter doesn't have as much like grit and grime and willingness to get it. Now, the way we prepare her is like, she works, right? She'll get up, she'll work in the industry, she'll work long hours, she'll do her thing. She enjoys working. But I'm not sure that like Marlo said, we're really like you know, we would rather sometimes like I end up, I don't know, I'll end up taking out the garbage and I'm like, I got a kid in here, girl, go take out the garbage. You know what I mean? So I do wonder what your thoughts. Are we spoiling the ride? Are we spoiling the children, and will it impact them later on?
I think that we're probably we're probably a little softer because of the generation before us was pretty rough, right? But I also balance that by saying, yes, the world and the country we live in is going to give grit, regardless of who you are, what you do. So where do you get the privilege from? Like, where would they get their privilege from? You know what I mean? So there has to be some balance in there somewhere. I know people are saying like, yeah, we spoiling them and we doing too much for them and they lazy. Possibly that's accurate, but do they not deserve some level of privilege? And if they do, and if we agree that they do, where is it going to come from? Is my catch? Is my that?
Yeah.
I
I
love
agree with
that.
that.
Yeah.
I think my kids got privilege, but I think that they also got a bit of grit because I know the grit that I got when I got on outside and it was on me. I wanted to try and prepare them for that, right? Because if you can be not broken at home, right, but you can be guided and you can get tough love, I feel like that is a good way to set kids up. I think a lot of kids get set up for failure when they get on the outside, and mainly because I work with young people and I'm like, oh my God, you need a little grit. It ain't for me to give it to you though, because that should have been, developed elsewhere.
I love that. Well, what do you think in the chat, y'all? We're having this conversation, but I definitely want to know what you think. Is this too much? Are we spoiling our kids, or do they deserve it? Do they deserve these $27,000 send-offs? Just because maybe we've been, we haven't had as a community, right? So I want to know from you. What do you think? We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. It's a good show right here. But I'm biased. If you are just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. My name is Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I'm the proud producer of this show because it is lit. If you want to receive notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All you have to do is text the word Queens to 87948. That's Queens to 87948. That's QUEENS to 87948. Also, if you want to grow your money and not blow your money, all you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, there's courses, there's free giveaways. There's just no reason to be broke in 2025. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoney.com. Obviously, you don't want to be entertained here. You want to know enough to grow. Wait, I need to put that on a shirt. You got to know to grow. Got to know to grow. So know and grow with flynubianmoney.com. Welcome back to Fly Nubian Money. Listen, we are talking today about a Philadelphia mother who spent $27,000 on her daughter's Cinderella-themed prom send-off. And, it's so interesting because I saw a really, really interesting comment from Aaron. Can you take this down for me, Gwen? Aaron says, it's ridiculous how much money people are spending on these things. Promposals, enormous homecomings, mom prom send-offs with limos and luxury cars, and $10,000 dresses. What is wrong with us?
I don't know.
Marlo, what is wrong with us? Is there something wrong?
I cannot relate to this at all. I cannot relate. Like, I don't know, but I also realize, I've been doing the parenting for a long time. Just thought about it. I got one just made 15 and one will be 30 in August, right? So I've been doing, raising people and figuring this stuff out for a really long time. And I think that people operate from a place, and we've already said it, of just like hurt and lack. And, everybody want to be in abundance, right? And so you can't be in abundance if people don't co-sign. I think social media is something that we cannot keep out of this conversation, because if there were no social media, it'd be no reason for any of this. This is content, right? This is people looking for a something extra, right? My girl said it. Oh, I wasn't expecting to talk to you, but she was expecting to do it big, and she was doing it for the photographs, and she was doing it for the gram. And I think that that's part of the conversation that is very important. Very important.
I love what you said about it really is making me think about what we should be giving our children. And I guess what this young lady was saying was like, listen, I got the money. She's still going to go to college. She's still going to do her thing. I just wanted to make sure I sent her off the right way. Right. And I just think that there's something interesting. Like, again, if you got it, that's cool. But in real life, in most Black families, in most Black households, there's not at least $500 for savings in a savings account, right? So Joe, I wonder, when it comes to something like this, it's like our priorities, how those priorities of like, I want to show up and spend $15,000, but when it comes to investing in myself in something like just anything that might be productive for my life, I'm not saying all the time, but I know that it's people would rather come up with $15,000 for this rather than doing something productive. What do you say about that? Like, what is that? Where does that come from?
First thing I would do, I want to help people understand, like, always what this is rooted in, right? So we're just getting to generations where we have even the modest financial stability in our community, and not even, I don't even know how close we even are to like getting to multiple families or bloodlines that have built generational wealth. So what I'm saying is we've basically gone without for the most part.
Mhm.
So we look at these situations as validation in a certain way, and we're not necessarily thinking about, um, it's hard to talk or live a way that you don't even know about. Like, some people don't even
Mm,
understand financial wellness, or
mm,
you know what I mean, or financial literacy at all. Like, it's not a thing. So
mhm,
for it to not to be a thing, then how do you explain something that's not a thing, or how do you feel like you have an option versus my only option is to basically look like I'm not going without, because
yeah.
that's the emotional validation that I need to say my child had the things that I didn't have. Now I'm validated. That's making me a good parent. Not knowing that, if if you teach your child financial literacy, right, that also makes you a good parent. That also gives you validation. You don't feel judged or policed or dismissed, and instead of with these loud events that says, "Look at us, we made it." So
Mm,
there's just like some deep emotional things that go on with people that feel like they need to do this type of stuff, even if you do got it though, right? I mean, how many we saw? I think that was what is it, the DDG or whatever his name? Then he buy his kid like a Lambo or something like that, his baby, like his newborn baby. You know what I mean?
Everything is fine.
Like, he has it, right? He has money. So we look at, so is that okay? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, right?
right.
But I look at it and look at him and say, oh, he's looking for validation that says I'm a good father for whatever reason.
Mm.
Mm.
You
See,
know,
I told you Joe was gonna have me feeling so.
you see, you switching. He's feeling all warm inside. Here's my question though, Marlo. It's not like other cultures don't have these big events, right? I just think it's so interesting that the meaning of like a quinceañera or a bar mitzvah, those, or even like a Nigerian wedding. I'm just using Nigerian wedding because I know they throw money and they give money and all of that to the couple to put, take for their lives, to contribute to their lives and take them to the next level. So I know for sure, like a bar mitzvah, they give their children money and they send them off in a way. What is the difference between that and this? Because I would think like that $27,000 is money you spent. Like, nobody's coming and giving you anything that can help you build your life.
Everybody in those other scenarios, right? Those are exclusive to the Latino community, exclusive, or maybe even Mexican. I don't know if every Spanish speaking country does quinceañera, but certainly Mexicans. The bar mitzvah or the bat mitzvah, that is strictly Jewish, right? That is strictly related to that religion. Everybody could go to prom, right? So this is really more of a one-uppance. Maybe it's a recouping what I missed, right? I went to prom, I had a little bump, right? I just said one gonna be 30. I had a bump when I went to prom, right? So I think it would be, if I cared enough to have poured that into my son or my daughter who have previously graduated, or my daughter that's coming out in a few years, if I chose to do that because I felt like I missed something, but I don't feel like I missed something. So I think it's, people gotta check what's on the inside. Call Joe, y'all.
Call Joe. I think that's what you're gonna say after everything.
So that even if you have that $27,000 to spend, you do it, in a way that's a little bit more meaningful, because everybody go to prom. Like everybody go, or you don't go, but most people have the option to go to prom. So there's nothing that is a whole lot of special about prom or homecoming. I just think that some of this is what the parent missed out on, and kind of imposing that on the child, or bigging it up in a way that the child feels like they can't miss out on this, creating a sense of FOMO, if you will.
Yeah. I think that we've been stripped of culture in so many ways, and we don't have, right? Like, so if Jewish people have bar mitzvahs, they've been able to create a culture, create tradition within their culture. And I think we try, right? I think we try. We've just been given Juneteenth, right? It's like one of them, I mean, like, I want to throw, but if you think about it, we have really been given other people's traditions to kind of like make our own. And I think we do. Thanksgiving, we all get together at Mama's house and we do that, and we have all of the things that'll probably kill us, but it's part of who we are as a people. We're gonna eat. Does that have something to do with it? Joe, does that have something to do with this? Like the fact that we really don't have anything that we can call our own. So us making these things like, okay, prom send-offs are a thing now, y'all. And we're looking around, like Marlo said, at social media saying like, okay, well, I want to be a part of this. Is it cultural? Is this cultural? Is this a tradition now?
I honestly don't know where this originated, right? I don't know when it started, but I think it's probably been going on close to like 8-9 years at this point, these send-offs. And I'm sure what's happening now is the pressure from social media. When you're seeing these things, is we're getting there now. We're not only this, but also, the gender reveals and all the things that are now, we're putting a lot of money, and even proposals, you know what I mean? Like, now the proposal's got to be an event. Now you got to have your clothes and your dress and all that right just for the proposal, right?
Yeah.
And it's got to be videotaped, all of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think I don't know where it originated, but I don't know the answer to your question directly, but I would venture to say that what's driving it at this point is the pressure from the culture to keep it going and make it bigger than what it was yesterday. I think that is what's happening. And but if we maybe took some time to look at these short-term moments of happiness versus long-term feelings of joy, $27,000, you can, what does that cover? What kind of, you can overcome some real hardship with that type of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Listen, we are going to dive into this conversation a little bit more. I want to get into these comments as soon as we come back from this next break. Stay tuned.
I know
we'll be right.
You're busy, you got things to do, and you can't take us on the go with you every single day. Good news for you. We are now on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, now you can listen to us on Spotify. Search Fly Nubian Money and all the episodes shall appear. All you have to do is like, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, leave some comments, tell people how you love us so that when other people come along and are looking for a great show to watch, they can find Fly Nubian Money too. One last thing, and just in case you've been sitting under a rock, Fly Nubian Money now has an investment club. We are the Fly Nubian Money Club. It's easy. All you have to do is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com, and I am committed to bringing in top experts from all industries to help you level up. They're teaching us the skills that we need to compete in this market. We often say that nobody is coming to save us, not the government, but guess what? We're coming to save us. I'm coming to save you with the Fly Nubian Money Club. So listen, all you have to do again is go to flynubianmoneyclub.com. We have a 30-day free trial set up just for you, just for those people that are struggling. Even if you ain't struggling, you ain't got to struggle. I'm coming. Okay, let me stop playing. I'll see you soon.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to Fly Nubian Money, where we are talking about prom send-offs, how Black people are spending their money, and are we being wasteful on prom send-offs and promposals and all of that stuff. So interesting. Deborah Wynn says, we live in a world where social media is how we measure our worth. And I'm pretty sure that Marlo and Joe have said that, so we agree with you to an extent. Let's see. Black Lexicon says, my proms were about showing your maturity. The bling reflected the collective level of all Black economics on average. Okay. Medicine says, our culture is ghetto, an Italian word, go figure, and we participate in it. You know, I think that I think our culture is not ghetto. I think our culture is, it's just a story that we've embraced, given to us by other races. I think that Black people are wonderful. I think that they are lit. They have given the whole world culture. I think that everybody walks around wanting to be like Black women and men. They want the swagger. They want the smarts. They want the innovation. They wanna be us, right? So I don't know if I agree with you, Medicine. So we're gonna go to our next video. So stay tuned, and we'll add a little bit more to this conversation. Stick around.
You're posted. Maricel, I love you. You love this kid. The dress was $1,300, right? The shoes were $4,900. The send-off was $3,900. Your hair was $175. They gave you a great price on the hair. $750 on photos and videos. $4,000 on a car rental. And you got the hotel so everyone could get ready, and that was $1,600. The total was $16,625. You love this kid. I'm gonna say it one more time. Take me through the process. What made you want to blow it out that way?
So as you mentioned, prom is really big in Philadelphia.
Huge.
But I didn't get to go on my prom, and I'm the only one out of 4 that didn't. And I know that was something my mom really, really wanted. So I just told myself that I wanted to give my daughters a big prom, and Fela had initially came to me saying that she was going to go on someone else's prom, and I already had some ideas. So I was like, we can't do that. I don't want you to outshine anyone. So I kind of talked her into going to her own.
Joe. It's what Joe said, right? Joe, do you want to go ahead and react to this, what this young lady said? Because I heard trauma.
Yeah, that's all it is, man. That's all it is. Validation, it's really tough out here to feel parenting is hard, y'all. Like, it really is hard. And to feel all the time like you're doing a good job, that's also really challenging. So we do things sometimes out of the necessary and out of body experiences, something to feel validated and just to feel like, hey, I'm a good mom.
Mm.
So I'm looking at this woman talk, and I'm thinking to myself, where is she getting her validation from? Like, who's telling her, helping her understand that with or without this, you are who you are.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Her daughter didn't even want it, y'all. Did you know that? She was like, my daughter wanted to go to somebody else's prom, but I talked her out of it and was like, we can't outshine because I got a plan. I have some ideas. Marlo, what do you think about that? I got some ideas, and please, somebody, please, can we address the $4,000 car? I'm gonna give it to Marlo. Marlo, both of those things. Like, baby didn't want $4,000 car.
Listen, these things reek of this is what my mama wanted. Like, these events to me reek of that. And I'm glad that she said it. I'm glad that she was honest about the why behind spending this amount of money. I I don't know. Like, I can't see it. And I'm so glad, like Joe said, parenting is hard. Like, 3 different kids, 3 different personalities, figuring it out on the job. It's on the job training. Nobody has parenting perfected, right? And there are times when I cave to the pressure of giving the things that maybe I felt like I lacked as a kid. And then there are times when I got to put my foot down and be a little bit harder. And then there are times that I have to check myself, is this what they want, or is this what you want, right? And I just think that your kid is for the world. Your kid, I know people get caught up in, this is my kid, they belong to me, and your kid is for the world. And what are you putting into them that is going to get expressed to all of us? And that's what I want a lot more parents to focus on and concentrate on. Like, what are you unleashing on the world with these antics of your unhealed self, and you ain't go talk to Joe yet? That's what I want.
Yeah. I think it's kind of amazing. Like, just for the car, I can't get over the car alone, and the shoes is
For
what
one
Sonia
night,
said. For $10,000 just for the shoes and the car together, it's almost 10 racks, right? Um, Medicine said definitely ghetto. Let's go to let's go to some statistics. I wanna read. I wanna know why. Gwen, I need to know why. All right. Okay. According to 2021 survey by the National Endowment for Financial Education, nearly 60% of Americans admit to overspending during the holidays, birthdays, and life events to keep up with societal pressures, often using credit cards or debt to finance celebrations. Please take that down. I want to know, is anyone that's on this panel or in the chat guilty of this? By raise of hand, have you ever overspent? Why did you feel like you had to do that? Was there a pressure? Did you feel like, man, if I could just get, sometimes I'm like, man, my daughter would be happy if I just took her outside and we hung out for the day or whatever. But during Christmas, we tend to like just throw gifts at her at an insane amount of, it's just too much, right? So I want to know from you all, why do you feel like, Marlo, why do you feel like you had to do that?
I don't know. I just feel like I have to be part of the thing, right? When I put my foot down and I'm not participating in the thing and cave into the pressure of whatever the newest banners are that's hanging up telling me to buy stuff, sometimes I feel bad, and then I want to play the game. And so it really is, to fit in.
It's to fit in. Is it about like giving? Is it about your children, Joe? In that moment, was it about getting your sons things, or was it about you? You think when you were like, I gotta overspend?
It's both. You know what I mean? It's both. I mean, outside of my wife, the sound of my children laughing is my favorite sound, right? So I like to hear that. I like to hear them in joyful moments and experience them and watch them in that. But even in that, that is about me too. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Because I want to feel that they are being provided joy, and I want to know that I help facilitate it. So yeah, that is it's about all the things, but some of it is coming from a genuine place, and some of it is about trying to stick your chest out a little bit and say, look at me, I'm Father of the Year. And some of it's about just feeling guilty about what they don't have, you know,
mm,
because you experience not having all these things growing up, and your number one goal in life was to make sure your kids had what you didn't have, and then you get to a certain point where you're like, well, they don't still have all the things, right?
mm-hmm.
So you covered up the guilt up with overspending in certain moments.
Yeah, it's so funny because the way I grew up, right? My uncles I used to be like, I want Nikes, and my uncle, my uncle like took a marker and put them on the side, like drew a Nike sign on the side, and was like, here you go, as a joke. And I remember saying like, you know, um, but I don't think at that moment, I don't think that as a kid, I didn't know that we were like as poor as we were. I didn't know that life was as bad as it was until you know, until you get, and then you get, until you get a reference, right? So like, even if, I think sometimes we think that our kids, it's that, like, they don't know, they're not, sometimes I'm looking at my daughter and it feels like she's like, you know, we're high class. I'll be like, you know, like, we're rich. I'll be like, okay, you know. And I think that's funny because we're very, very much middle class, but I'm saying whatever that means. But you know what I'm saying? Like, to her, she's like, we're here. Right. So I wonder if even that is about us, because you know, our kids don't have the full scope of it. They're just living in it and experiencing their parents. They don't know one from the other. Would you guys agree with that, or you think I'm kind of off base with that?
No, absolutely. I think so. And, you know, that's why you as a parent then have to keep that in check and keep those expectations kind of grounded so that when that pivot point happens and they do understand, oh, it's not as high class, you know, when you meet high class and you ain't what you thought you were, then you could be a little bit more settled in your experience, I think. So realistic expectations, parents, we got to set them early so that we don't have.
But also works in reverse, right? Like you know, you go do all these extravagant things for your kids, and then you bring home some McDonald's, and you stay rifling through the bag, and they be like, "No fries." Oh, you know, I've been out of shape. You don't appreciate nothing. You know, I didn't have fries when I grew up. You know what I mean? So it's like those little things that set you off, man, because it's like all the things, all the negative and positive things is wrapped up in your own lived experiences as a child, man.
Yeah. Someone says, I can't see the person. Okay. Sonia J says, I wonder if any of the parents have life insurance. You know what? Let's watch this next video because that really ties in really nicely what we're about to watch. Go ahead and roll that video.
So let me get this straight. The average prom costs anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. Let's think about that. Most Americans don't have $500 in their bank account. They are renting Ferraris, Bentleys, and all these exotic cars for one night. But yet, if you look at their retirement accounts, they have less than $3,000 to $5,000. It gets even deeper. God forbid something happens to the parents that rented those things for the kids. They leave absolutely nothing to their children because they have no type of retirement, or better yet, no type of life insurance. Help me make sense of that.
I don't know if y'all remember, we did a show not too long ago that said if you had $5,000 in your account, you were richer than 50% of the world. The world, Craig, right? Like you that means you have, so realistically, we know that Americans and particularly Black people are struggling. So I am trying to understand why $3,000 to $5,000 is insane, y'all. Just thinking about one night, this is not that person's husband. This is really just like $5,000 out of your bank account, you know. And I'm pretty sure we borrow and we rob Peter to pay Paul and all of that. Joe, what do you say to that video that we just watched? Like, what do you think about that?
Well, I agree with him. I think he's exactly right. Like I was saying earlier, $27,000 in perspective is a lot of money. That's college tuition for a whole year. That's enough capital to start a small business for that money. And I mean, it's emergency savings or money for investments. That's a lot of money. So if you spend that type of money and then you don't have those things, like all of those things, that capital, that college tuition, if that's where they want to go, or that investment money, then you have essentially made a mistake, right? And so yeah, I look at that, I look at all of that and take it all in the same way that he said it. And he's right.
Yeah.
And we have to, but I try not to be too hard on my people, man, because I know, you know, I read, I know where it all comes from, but there's certain things that we just have to unlearn if we're gonna ever gonna get it sale, or this we're gonna keep these generational things just gonna keep cycling, and we'll be back, 70 years from now talking about the same stuff. I'd be doing prom send offs and spaceships, and we'll be, talking about that.
That's interesting. You know what I noticed, Marlo? Um, both of these women are from Philadelphia. And the second lady said, now I went to Philly earlier this year and I was in the hoods in Philly getting me a cheesesteak. And let me tell you, nobody looks like they should be spending $27,000 on anything, right? And no shade to Philly. I'm just talking about, and who's to say somebody was in the hood or not in the hoods, but I'm just talking about in the Black communities in general. Nobody seems when did it, I don't even know, is this a local thing, like is it certain spots, because I don't know, we didn't have that.
I don't know. She said it's a Philly thing. I guess I kind of feel a little bit better knowing that it's a Philly thing, and that's how they like to do for prom. But I just, again, it's one night. It is, and $27,000 to make sure that your kid, when they go off to college, since she said college is straight and they gonna do that anyway, $27,000 is enough for you to put in a bank account so that your kid can get around and be able to come back home for holidays and not have hardship if they do choose to go away to college, right? $27,000 is, like Joe said, an investment in a small business, like a property. You were in the hood in Philly. I'm sure that they got some things in there. It's some foreclosures and some seized property, auction properties, and you probably for $27,000 to come up on a little mini gym that you could invest in. So I just, again, parents, I love y'all because I know it's hard, but we have got to do better because we know that the system is rigged, right? We know the game is rigged against us. Now that we know, we have the knowledge that our parents and our grandparents didn't have, it's important for us to, like Joe said, unlearn the things that are not serving us well as a community, because that's where the power is. The power is in all of us being together. And in my dog scratching, I'm so sorry.
I was about to say, what is going on? Listen, get your dog together. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back, y'all.
Are you a Black business owner looking to expand your reach? Well, has Fly Nubian Money got good news for you? We are building a Black business directory to connect you with customers who need your services. And here is the best part. It is absolutely free. Email us at info@realvirtual.net. Send us your business name. Tell us a little bit about what you do, what services you offer, your website address, and your contact information. That's it. Together, we are going to build and circulate the Black dollar. Get listed today and start connecting with people who are probably already looking for you.
I love what you were saying before the break about before the dog was scratching and all the things was happening. I'm a woman of resolution and results, and I want to know, like, I understand that this could be a bad thing, and so it could be bad, right? If you ain't got the money, if you are not fortunate enough to, really be able to afford like $5, $7, $10,000 for a prom, this is probably, we need to help people shift that mindset. It's very, very important. So I see that Sonia said we actually have to be hard on our people. That's the only way we can break the cycle. Now, Joe, you said you're gonna be soft, you're gonna be understanding, you're gonna come from it from as a therapist. Marlo, how you coming? Like, do we need to be hard? Do we need to be harder on financial literacy in our community? Do we need to really like let people see the absurdity of the way that they are spending money, like see themselves, turn that mirror around? Is that important?
I think only because this thing we call social media has created like this everybody's a star mentality.
You gotta figure that out. You gotta figure that out. What is he doing? What, Joe?
I didn't say I was gonna be soft, but I said I try not to be hard. So my approach to everything is confrontational empathy. So I'm very confrontational, but I also empathize with the struggles. You know what I mean? So if that is soft, then yeah, I guess I am. But I do agree a lot with what Sonia said about we do have to be, I wouldn't call it hard, but I'll just call it confrontational with our people about breaking these cycles and redefining what success looks like. It's not loud, it's not designer brands and luxury cars. Often the people, the richest people you're gonna find are like driving Honda Civics. You'd be surprised. You
Yeah.
know, paid off homes, it's emergency savings, it's funding for college for our kids. This is what success is, and that also comes with, see, the flashy stuff does not bring emotional peace because you always feel pressured to do the next thing, right? So I'm always on that. What brings us emotional peace? Emotional peace is freedom of choice because I have the money that I need to do whatever I want to do. I have the freedom to choose, and that kind of wealth doesn't get posted on social media. It's the other stuff that you see, and that's your definition of success. So redefining success around your actual real life values and not the validation you're looking for from other people in your community. That's what your results are. Now you're looking for results and solutions. We just have to redefine success for people in a different way. And even people that are still successful, like you still see them trying to get people's attention by showing them houses and cars and whatnot because they probably feel like they can't get their attention any other way. You can't, hey, look, I'm rich, and this is my 3-bedroom home and what, like you have to show all these extravagant things. But that's where when we start redefining that thing for ourselves, that's when it's gonna be happy. But confrontation, not hard. I'm not gonna tell you to, I'm gonna confront you, but I'm not gonna judge you and ridicule you for the choices that you've made.
Yeah. I love what you just said about success looking different. I remember when I used to work for Tracy Edmonds. I worked in the lobby. I was a receptionist in her office, and I remember Babyface used to come in. Now we know Babyface got his Babyface, right? But he used to pull up in a Prius, right? And in that building though, like on the second floor, like Tyrese and like I used to see Tyrese and Tank and all the guys and celebrities used to basically come in all day long. And so you got to really see who would pull up and who would be that flash you're talking about. And I really respected after I used to see Babyface come in. I'm pretty sure he had cars, right? But he used to just pull up in a Prius, very quiet, very demure, right? Very just feeling like, I don't have to showboat for anyone. So it just makes me think about like overall just seeing people even that live here in Hollywood that just watching the different types of people that I've met and observing their behaviors. And really the people that had the most money were the most quiet. I remember when I was in New Orleans and when Cash Money would pull around or go around, it'd be like 100 degrees and Lil Wayne would have on a chinchilla. It's like it's not only hot, but I understood what it was like. We got the money, but it used to be really hot, huh, Marlo? Like,
Absolutely. It was crazy, right? It was
Yeah.
crazy for you to park a prowler in front of the projects, but it was
Yes.
happening every single day.
Yes.
And I think that has helped to influence some of this behavior that we see now, right? This ghetto fabulous, this ain't got no money, but I'm still fly, right? Like my money is in my presentation. You see that I have money because how else am I able to put on this show and spectacle for you? Because it costs money to put on a show. So I don't know, y'all. I'm glad that I'm free. I have freed myself of this thanks to therapy, not Joe, but I do get to sit with therapist Joe every week, and it helps me to know that the switch I made is the best switch for me personally. And I appreciate what you said, Joe, but before the dog started acting crazy, and that's where I was going, is that people have to figure out for themselves through tough love how to better invest and how to be free of other people's opinions. Because at the end of the day, that's what this is about. This is about showing other people, especially when your daughter says, I didn't really want it. This is no longer about the daughter. It's absolutely about you and how you believe people see you, or what you want to reflect to people. And at the end of the day, that shit is unimportant, right? What's the relationship that you have with your kid? What's the relationship that you have with your community, where it's like positive going in and positive coming out? But there's some mind shift work to do, and it's gonna take some time because it's taken a long time to get us here.
Yeah. Joe, how can parents not live vicariously through their children? Do they need to go off and just do a thing like girl, just ask somebody if you can take somebody's son to prom? Like what needs to happen? Like how can I think this is a great question for adults, because here's the thing. A lot of people have not experienced certain things. But like how do they get that like itch off, like so they don't have to put it on their children? They can just do it for themselves in a version or a way, or because it's not always about prom, but everything. How can we do that without putting that stress on our children?
I think Marlo just told y'all, like, you have to put in, like, she put in the work. You have to put in the work and alter your mind. Like, you, there comes a deep understanding with knowing that your children are totally different humans from you. They are
For
not
sure.
you, but you have to work to get there so that you don't constantly live through them and eventually end up punishing them for you, like, trying to relive your entire life through your children. You had your time to do, and your children are totally different humans. They're not you. They don't even want to. They more than likely, a lot of them don't want to experience the same things you experience. They're not experiencing the same things you're experiencing. So the way that you feel about it is not relevant to how they're living. So you have to get, first of all, an understanding of yourself and who you are authentically, and then go and have a conversation with them to understand who they are authentically. And then y'all get on the same page about some of these things. Now, you can't have everything because that's not smart. Son, you got, or daughter, that's not smart. This is what we're trying to strive to. Like, how do you want to live in the future versus the right now? And they might not be able to grasp that because they're still young, and that's when you got to kind of take over and parent. But for the most part, you need to understand who they are as a person before you start, doing stuff like this.
Yeah. Is there a way though, Marlo, that I mean, because I was having a conversation with one of my girlfriends the other day, and she was basically like, girl, I've lived out, like, I've gotten to do like 50% of what I really wanted to do in life. Right. And it kind of made me sad because I feel like we're only like, what, in our early 40s. And it almost felt like life was over. Right. Like, well, because I have this kid now and because I have to pour into her, I can't, and I got bills and life and all of these things. I can't necessarily maybe pursue the things that I wanted to pursue in life. And I was like, I don't agree with that. You see him out here like, listen, you talking to the wrong person, because I'm the one that's like, listen, I'm out here. I got a choreographer. We out here making out. I just don't believe that. I don't subscribe to that. So could it even be a little bit of that? Like how, and not only just prom, right? I'm just talking about in general. Like if you didn't grow up, I think the thing she said was like, I would have wanted to start early. I wanted to start this earlier. If I would have had, somebody sit me down at 10 years old, 12 years old, 15 years old, say, do this. I said, you might have not done it, right? Like you might have not done it, but, there's still time. What would you say to the parents that are vicariously living through their children or feel like that they can't do things now because, they're too old?
I think one, stop living vicariously through your kids. It's not your life, it's their life. You help them to manage it. It's not yours to live. You don't get two lives. Stop being selfish. And the other part is, it's not too late. I feel like I was a teen mom, so I had to work jobs that I hated until I was able to set my mind to go to school, right? And to be serious and be able to make school function in my life. You have to adjust, right? You have to figure out what's important. Maybe your dreams change, right? What I had for my dream for my life 10 years ago is certainly not the dream that I have now, but I'm very happy with the whole of my life. And so I think that you got to be flexible. Life requires flexibility. And I think if you're rigid and you see it as an end, it's certainly gonna feel like an end, and it might be a long ass ending. Like how long you want this to just dredge on and you're not happy? I think that you just have to adjust with the ebbs and flows of life. You got a kid now, it's gonna look different but have your eyes open and your ears tuned, so when that dream does fall into you, you can recognize it and see what's going on. Everything is happening today. Somebody's at the door. The dog.
Oh my God.
Double doorbell ring.
Let's go to some of those statistics. Do you need to go get that? Is somebody gonna answer the door? Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Listen, the gremlins is out. All right. Let me get to these stats while Marlo figure it out. All right. According to the Brookings Institute, Black families are more likely to experience financial instability, and 40% of Black households report having no savings to cover a $400 emergency, including and indicating the long-term financial strain of living beyond their means. Y'all, 40%. That's all I'm gonna say. 40% of us are faking the funk. We doing $15,000 things we can't do. All right. Pressure to spend in the Black community. A 2020 study found that 70% of Black Americans feel pressure to maintain appearances and prove success, often leading to overspending and luxury items and celebrations. 70% of us. 70. Okay. The Federal Reserve reports that 20% of Black households have a negative net worth. 20% of us got a negative net worth compared to 13% of white households, showing the financial burden that trying to keep up with appearances can put on Black families. That's stressful. According to Mental Health America, financial stress is one of the top causes of anxiety and depression with Black Americans, disproportionately affected by financial strain due to cultural pressures to spend for status. Y'all, those stats made me sad. I don't know if you could tell, but they really did. They paint a very real picture of what is really going on. Like, the internet world is one thing and the real world is another thing. And I think that's the thing about social media. People are, to me, it's almost like the Matrix, right? Where nothing feels real. Like, I can only really take 10% of what's happening. It's like social media is like based on a true story for me. It's like a movie, right? Like a movie I would write. It's not real. And unfortunately, people are taking their real lives, their real life cues from reality. I don't know if life is imitating art or art is imitating life. It feels like art, the art that we're watching on social media, life is trying to imitate that and it can't keep up, right? So that makes me sad. It really does. And I hope that at some point, Black people, we can figure out, we have things here at Fly Nubian Money. Obviously, I have a Fly Nubian Money club. We want to help you really elevate your life to the point where you ain't got to fake it. All right. So we're going to get into these final thoughts because that just stresses me out. That stressed me out a little bit, y'all. But I want to know, let's end on a positive note. What's one thing or one tip or one takeaway? Because I love for people to be able to leave these podcasts and go and be active and do one thing to change their lives. Joe, what would it be? What you got, brother?
I'm gonna say that I want Black families to know you have every right in the world to celebrate, to shine, and to show up with pride and joy in moments like this. But we also have to do what we got to do to protect our long-term peace, and for our children, do the best we can to secure their futures and help them build generational wealth, especially if our time is passed on that. And we got to model a different version of success that isn't tied to how loud we look or how and how we perform, but how we build. Like, our success is built on how we build. So we got to teach our kids that they're worthy. Yes, you are worthy of luxury, but you're also worthy of love and legacy. And the real wealth comes in the choices that we make and the futures that we plan and the wisdom that we get to pass down, so we can do this generationally. That's where our wealth is. So that excellence that we're always talking about, that Black excellence, it isn't just about how we show up, it's about how we sustain and maintain. So if you want to start understanding who you are to get that first leg going, holler at me at realuconsulting.com. All my social media pages are linked to my website, so you can follow me and be a part of everything that I'm doing whenever you feel like it.
Yeah. Yes, please. Hit Joe. Hit Joe. RealYouConsulting.com. He also has Vulnerability is the New Sexy podcast on Tuesday nights. So, or Tuesday evenings it's 5 p.m. here, right? What time is it? It's
7 on the
yes. It's
7 in Central
7
Time.
and 8 Eastern Standard Time. Okay. So make sure that you check my brother out. Go to Real You Consulting and get all of that information. Subscribe to his YouTube. And Marlo, what do you say, sis?
I say get to know your kids and what it is that they want. It's much more important for you to understand them as it is for you to see them as a mini you, and you're going to recapture some type of lost time, or you're going to feel your regrets in their life. That's not cool for you, and it certainly is not cool for them. I think that learn to say no to yourself and your impulses and all of those things, and always ask yourself the question why. Usually when I ask myself why, I end up not doing something stupid, because why for me is impulse control. And I think more people could learn that, because these are impulsive moves about moments that in the grand scheme of my life, my prime moment, I almost don't even remember it, because I've had so many great moments in life since then. So it's just a moment in time, people. Prom, graduation, homecoming, all of that stuff. None of it is as important as the relationships that you form and that your kids will form through life. If you need help growing your business because you want to throw an extravagant prom, don't let me be the reason that you don't. Actually, call me and let me be the reason that you are able to throw that extravagant prom party, if that's what you want to do, because the Marlo Group specializes in helping small businesses get found in the big old ocean of the internet. You can hit us up for a consultation, kind of poke around, subscribe to the newsletter, and find out what your digital bestie is promoting or trying to help you get a better understanding of. themarlogroup.com is where you can find me.
I love it. I love it. Make sure you go to the Marlo Group, y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna say this. I know that we all have priorities, and there's certain things that are more important. Some of us splurge on traveling, some of us splurge on clothes, some of us like purses, some of us like whatever it is, that experience that you like and that you don't mind splurging on. That's okay. It's okay to splurge. It's okay to give yourself a little luxury. If the splurge is on your children, that's absolutely fine. But I would just challenge you and make sure that you know that on top of that, you need to be investing, maybe taking a tenth of the things that you are spending and putting it and giving it back. Because what the stat told me is that 4 out of 10 families or people walking around don't have more than $400 in their account. So we want to make sure that for those 4 that are out of the 10, because I know it ain't all y'all, I'm just asking you to make sure that instead of feeling pressed or pressured to do things, like Marlo said, stop and ask yourself why, but also just put a little money away. Every time I get paid, I just put like a little money away, 10% of that right on into an account. Every time somebody sends me money, I just put a little section of it away and I don't look at it. Maybe some days that could be, somebody can send me $100, $10 of it is going away, right? Big or small. So I'm not saying like, you can do whatever. But here's one of the things that I'm doing this weekend. I just want to share with y'all. Do I have a MissBlackHollywood.net? Yes. Okay. So, as you know, something that's become a slogan around our Fly Nubian Money Club, Dr. Boyce says, even if you are not an entrepreneur, you must learn how to sell something. And so I took that to heart, and with all of my clients and also the Fly Nubian Money Club, and we are learning to sell something, anything, right? Whether that is a book or whatever it is, right? So I want to help you. If you are trying to sell something, that's something, whatever that is, I want to help you wrap a story around it so you can learn the art of story selling. This Saturday, I have a workshop, a 3-week workshop starting, where we are I'm teaching you the art of storytelling. I am allowing people to contact me via email for 3 weeks straight. There's so many perks to joining, but we're going to have 10 hours of live discussion. On top of that, there is 2 additional hours of just strategy and storytelling and live feedback. So we are gearing up for a great time. Visit missblackhollywood.net to go ahead and join. Again, we start this Saturday for a little meet and greet, a little story and greet. You tell me your story, I'll tell you mine, So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited to get to work with you. All right. That's all I had to say, really. Um, all right. So I want to thank you all for joining us. Marlo, thank you so much for joining me. And Joe, thank you. He is gone and servicing clients. But I want to thank you for joining us today. The story of 27K prom send-offs highlights the complex relationships between money, family, expectations, and societal pressures. We need to shift our thinking and start building sustainable wealth, not just for spending to impress. Let's create a future where financial independence and long term security takes precedence over short lived moments of glamour. Like Marlo said, it's just one day. Until the next time, stay empowered, stay financially smart, and keep building your legacy. And don't spend $27,000 on one night. We will see you tomorrow. Mwah.